Are we about to kill the Queensland Cup? What if chasing New South Wales ends up costing Queensland the very thing that made us strong? What if the push to modernise our development pathways actually weakens the foundation they're built on? Because right now, there's an intensifying push from Queensland-based NRL clubs to run their own reserve grade teams inside the Queensland Cup. Sounds logical, right? But before we rush to copy New South Wales, we need to understand something. The two systems were never built the same. And that difference matters. Welcome back to the Old School Broncos podcast. Today, we're going bigger than just the Broncos. But make no mistake, this hits the Broncos directly. For years now, and it's building momentum, Queensland NRL clubs have been pushing to field their own standalone reserve grade sides in the Queensland Cup. The belief that New South Wales clubs have a development advantage because they essentially run one integrated system from grassroots all the way through to the NRL, and Queensland is falling behind. But before we debate the solution, let's understand the difference. The New South Wales Cup and the Queensland Cup are fundamentally different competitions. New South Wales Cup, let's be honest, you know what NSW stands for, right? Newcastle, Sydney, Wollongong. It's city-based. It's built around major population hubs. Yes, there are outliers like Melbourne, Canberra and Auckland, but structurally, it is metro-heavy. It is not a true statewide regional competition. Now compare that to the Queensland Cup. Started in 1996. From day one, it has been about the regions. Look at the footprint. Cairns, Townsville, Mackay, Rockhampton, Sunshine Coast, Redcliffe, Toowoomba, Ipswich, Gold Coast, a few Brisbane-based clubs, and the PNG Hunters. That is semi-professional football stretched right across the state. That's a huge footprint. That's long travel. That's community-backed football in regional Queensland. And here's something that quietly matters. Governance is different too. In Queensland, the QRL centrally oversees competitions and development across the whole state. In New South Wales, control is more fragmented. Sydney districts operate with more autonomy, and regional areas fall under the New South Wales Country Rugby League. Different structures, different history. You can't just overlay one model onto the other without friction. Now, the Queensland NRL clubs won't change. And I understand the motivation. New South Wales clubs operate essentially a reserve grade and rep juniors almost entirely in-house. Same defensive systems, same attack, same terminology, same conditioning models, same weekly structure. When a player gets called up, he slots straight in. Queensland clubs don't have that same uniformity. The Broncos-aligned with Wynnum Manly Seagulls, South Logan Magpies, the Burleigh Bears, and the Sunshine Coast Falcons. Those clubs maintain their own identities and structures and share the overflow of Broncos players. There is cooperation, but it's not a single silo. Queensland NRL clubs believe that fragmentation is costing development consistency. And in recent years, New South Wales depth pipelines prove this, having won nearly all of the State Cup playoffs on NRL Grand Final day each year. So from a pure football lens, this concern is real. But solving it by dismantling your ecosystem is where the risk lies. If Queensland-based NRL clubs run standalone reserve grade teams, what changes? Here are the positives. Full development control, a unified system, seamless call-ups, brand growth across multiple competitions. For the Broncos, that means Broncos at every level of football. One badge, one identity, but here's the trade-off. You now run extra game days, extra administration, extra staff, extra medical, extra travel, extra compliance. You're expanding operational complexity. Instead of focusing purely on development, you're building more infrastructure that costs money, and it costs focus. But this is the part that worries me most. The Queensland Cup isn't just a development league. It is the backbone of regional rugby league. Many Q Cup teams rely on 4 to 5 NRL contracted players to lift their standards. Remove that dynamic and suddenly quality drops, competitiveness drops, sponsorship appeal drops, and crowds thin. Some clubs are financially powerful, like Wynnum, Souths, Redcliffe Easts, even Townsville. They've got strong leagues clubs backing them. Others, like Toowoomba or the Sunny Coast, they run lean. They're community dependent. If talent centralises around NRL-owned reserve grade teams, what happens? The rich get stronger, the lean struggle harder. Regional rugby league suffers. And once regional sport suffers, rebuilding it is incredibly hard. The Q Cup's strength has always been in its footprint. You don't shrink a footprint without shrinking opportunity. We have seen many kids over the years not be able to handle the big smoke of Brisbane at young ages. Take away the option to play where you live and you risk losing those players for good. There was a time when Queensland had the advantage. The Q Cup was tough, competitive and statewide. It produced hardened footballers, resilient players, late bloomers like Cody Walker, young kids that slipped through the cracks like Cam Munster. New South Wales systems now look streamlined and efficient, but copying their structure ignores geography and history. Queensland's strength wasn't centralisation. It was connection. Connection to towns, to communities, to regional identity. You can't centralise that without losing something. If the problem is development alignment, here's a smarter move in my opinion. NRL clubs take control of the football departments of their feeders. Not the brand, not the board, not the identity, just the football. Install coaching and development at each region. Unified systems, shared analytics, shared conditioning, integrated pathways. But preserve club identity, regional footprint, and community backing. That creates multiple aligned silos, not one oversized expensive one. NRL clubs invest in football, not expanded event management. Development improves, the Q Cup survives. Is there a risk? Of course. The Toowoomba Clydesdales of the late 90s and early 2000s were just the Broncos Reggies. They lost all connection to the area before the experiment was finally shelved in 2006. But the alternative was worse because the Clydesdales were dead for the best part of 2 decades, only re-entering the competition in 2023 as the Western Clydesdales. So it's a case of putting work to maintain identity and community connection while adopting football management from the NRL clubs. There is a nuance in doing things similar but different. Spread the players over multiple clubs, but control the football management in those clubs. Don't put them all in one club, so there is a commitment to each community, not a takeover. So my final thoughts, Queensland Rugby League was built differently to New South Wales. Different geography, different governance, different culture, different footprint. Chasing symmetry doesn't automatically create superiority. The Broncos and every Queensland NRL club sit on a foundation built by regional football. You don't hollow out your foundation to match someone else's structure. You strengthen what makes you unique. That's how sustainable success is built. But this debate isn't going away. It's only intensifying. And the decision made in the next few years could reshape Queensland Rugby League for decades. If you're a Broncos fan, this affects you. If you care about regional rugby league, it definitely affects you. But I want to hear what you have to say. Drop your thoughts below. Should Queensland NRL clubs run standalone reserve grade sides? Or do we evolve into something smarter? Remember to like, share and subscribe. This is the Old School Broncos podcast. Let's go Broncos.